or the guidance of their parents, teachers, friends, families. But the question is, the people, those who are influencing or guiding the child, are they aware of all the career option exist? Do they know the importance of aptitude, personality, and interest? That every child has a different aptitude, different interest, and different personality. And do they even know how to reach at the epitome of any particular career? If a person who is guiding the child and they do not have answer for these three questions, it seems like they are not qualified to do so. And because of this conventional way of choosing a career, it could lead to dropouts. It could also lead to unemployable degree holders, and it may also lead to the restlessness throughout the life. That if a person who is if doing a work which does not suits his or her personality and interest, then he will not remain happy. So the question is that the basic purpose of education is to earn livelihood and keep ourselves happy. And of course you can earn livelihood even without being happy, but then as a it doesn't uh, look like that we are living a good life. So what I said is, the people those are guiding the child, they are not aware of the career option exists. They do not know how to find the best fit career for the child. They are also not aware of what is the path they should follow to reach at the epitome of the particular career. And in the new education policy, it is giving extra wings to the child, it is giving the more options. So we have been doing a research for around 2.5 years, that how we can make it easy for the parents, for students to choose the career for themselves. So I'll like to share my screen with you, and I'll try to show that what work we have done and how useful it is. Rajul, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, thank you, Rajul. So this is the dashboard of a student, that he can explore the career here, and our career exploration library is multilingual, and it is also in an audio visual format. Even the parents, those who do not understand English, they will be able to understand about a career. And knowing about a career, there's a full information about a career is available here. For example, this is the digital marketing career. So what are the skills required for this particular career, what are the future prospects, what are the salaries, and what you'll be doing. And this is a video for all the information available in the audio visual format. And then these are the job prospects, what are the salaries in India and abroad, what are the famous personalities, what are the related careers. And a child can just click on it and shortlist it, and it will be saved in his own cart. After exploring the career, what is the best fit career for a for the child. And this is
Hi,
our
I'm E-Man. I'll help you. Let's play a game to find best fit career for you.
So here a child will be taking a test, and it will be output of this will be the aptitude and interest of the child, and that will be mapped to the best fit career for the child. After exploring, after finding the best fit, then what are the colleges available, what are the all the college information is available. Similarly, all the exams information is available, and whatever the exam the child will shortlist will keep on sending the automatic reminder for the form opening and closing date, so they don't miss any exams. And similarly, there are extracurricular activities like sports, dance, drama, all events are available here. If someone wants to participate, they can check their eligibility, they can apply also. So that's how this is a one stop solution for lots of things. So in addition to that, there are lots of scholarships available to the child. These are all the scholarship are on this platform. a child can simply apply on this, and then if they are eligible they can get their scholarship or they can appear for the exam. And internship, which is even NEP is talking about, that children should go for the internship, and all these many internship are available. So even I was not aware of that, so many internships are available. So that's a very beautiful platform. This is basically eMango. eMango stands for education management on the go. Apart from the learning, what additional things are required to be successful in life? We just do not need only the learning part or not only the knowledge part, but there are other things that should also be there. This is a student's own cart. The child can make his own wish list. For example, this child would have shortlisted some career. Those should be visible here, as he's not, so are not worried. Similarly, in wish list he can shortlist the exams, colleges, scholarship, internship, all those. Similarly, there are the very beautiful platform for the schools also. A school can see all the critical information which is required for this is a school dashboard. They can have the separate, they can know the what are the champions of their school. They can save the data of their alumni. And as one of the ma'am was discussing, that if we have to call someone that to tell about say who is a radiologist, if your school own alumnus will come to your school and tell what a radiologist do, so it will be a very beautiful thing. What an what IS officer do. So there is a Sandeep Singh is studying this. So you will, all the information will available with you. And your this what is the overall numerical aptitude of your school, what is the overall logical aptitude, verbal aptitude, and then how it varies with class wise and all this information. So this is where the we have been developing it, and we are working with IIT Delhi for this to develop the psychometric test, which are the gamified version. A child will be playing the game, and will be able to assess the aptitude and interest of the child, and then it will be back to the right career. So it's very important to choose the right career to be happy throughout the life. So that's how the earlier this kind of technology were not available when I was a student. Such things were not available, but now these are available. At that time, even the Google Map were not available. Now the Google Map are available. Even if we'll keep on asking the people that where should I go, what is the path, it doesn't make sense. The science can help over here. And some questions, this machines can work better than humans, because at a lot of time the human biases comes into picture. So we should take the help of such technologies. And we will be presenting our research paper in Czech Republic, that is International Congress of Psychology, in June and July. That research we have done on over this psychometrics test. Thank you. Thanks for hearing me out. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunilji. We all appreciate that you have come up with a wonderful product after doing this great research for last 2 years. Big thanks for joining and sharing. I'll come back to you with questions. Now, I would request last key speaker for this very special session, Vinayak ji, and it would be great to end the session on a musical note. So, Vinayak, over to you. We can have your ideas.
Thank you, Rajulji, for handing me over the mic. Actually, Anita ma'am and Arundhati ma'am have made my life very difficult because they spoke about most of the points far better than I could have ever executed from my side. So I'm feeling like a chimpanzee who have just started to learn tools amongst intellectuals. So please pardon me if there will be any mistake from my side. But it was really amazing to Anita ma'am shared an experience about her children, that one is a rapper, one is a game developer, and she made a point that jobs are changing. I actually posted a YouTube link while we were having this discussion, which was the speech of Jack Ma. And I am a big fan of Jack Ma. He's the founder of Alibaba.com, although he's Chinese, but I just want to overlook that fact. But I want to just highlight what he has achieved for his country. He was asked the same question in this interview. He says, like Sunil Dangiji sir also mentioned right now, machines can do certain tasks far better than humans. It is not in our capacity. Like Rajulji will not be able to lift 1 ton, but a JCB tractor can lift that, and I cannot do thousands of calculations, but a computer can do that in an instant. So what do we want our children of the future to learn? How can they compete with machines? I went to Shanghai and I was in a restaurant we didn't have even any waiter there. I just pressed on the iPad and a robot bought French fries on to me. I had to take it and had to give it back. So there is such a lot of thing happening in the world that uh, this rote education learning, CA, MBAs, every these things might suddenly be outdated, and so we need to prepare our children to compete with these machines, and the only way where machines cannot compete with humans is that they cannot be creative as humans. So we should teach them dancing, we should teach them painting, we should teach them story writing, which a machine cannot do. We should teach them music, which a machine can just automate to a certain extent, but it cannot be created from zero. So like these are the things which I feel is the call of the future, and the NEP 2020 is strongly headed in the correct direction in this regard. So like scientists, educationalists, and learning experts have produced innumerable studies that establish the value of music education for children, but owing to the pressures of modern living, not every child has an access to some level of music learning. Now Arundhati ma'am made a very valid point that implementation difficulties are there in schools. Now, this integration is mandated in many boards, including CBSE and ICSE, but effective implementation has been beyond the reach of even schools that have the best of intentions. So, like, how many schools are there that encourage students to opt for music as a mainstream subject? Uh, Now, I'm really glad that this demarcation of music being a co-curricular activity has been made a sincere effort to be removed, and it stands equivalent to any mainstream subject. In fact, NEP 2020 mentions music 20 times in the entire policy. So, see, there are innumerable benefits to music education. Means it helps in develop language and reasoning. It gives you mastery in memorization. Students learn to improve their work because music learning promotes craftsmanship, and students want to create good works instead of mediocre work. So this desire of them, which has been obtained by learning music, can be applied to all subjects of all studies. It increases their coordination, it gives them a sense of achievement, they stay more focused and engaged in schools, it gives them a sense of success in the society. And ma'am was telling, Arundhati ma'am was saying, students have pent up emotions. It is true. Means, and this pandemic has not helped the scenario at all. The parents are under stress in the home. Mostly there has been a stressful environment in most of the homes because of incomes going down, job losses, uncertainties that are prevailing. So the object of teaching music to a child is not that we want him to become AR Rahman or a Grammy Award winner. If they have the capability to do that, they will. But when a person just goes home, they just pick up their guitar, they strum a few chords and sing a couple of lines, the entire environment of the home changes. It reduces the stress levels and whatnot. So music can be relaxing as well. So now the thought process that are currently missing in the school masses are there has been a general lack of curriculum, lack of awareness of different music genres. Like rapping is a music genre. Now, how many people are aware of that? Many people who are belonging to the old school methodology, they will think that ye kya ho raha hai? This is not lyrics, this is not music. They're just talking about it. But look at the success of rappers like Badshah, like Eminem. They are doing so well, and it is music, let me tell you. So now a career oriented music education can improve a child's future and give them far more opportunities that are currently prevailing in the market. Now, in the previous music education previous policy, music was treated as a non-scholastic and extracurricular activity, which was not at par with the scholastic subjects. So the students who were committed to pursuing subjects such as music would find it extremely difficult to juggle academics with music in the current environment. So I'm really glad that that change is being thought about, and the ministry is actually looking forward to make these changes, because most of the basic tasks such as calculations, accounting, decision making, risk analysis can be automated even today by entering data into the system to get a meaningful output. However, which cannot be replicated, as I said, is human creativity, which should be inculcated at an early age. So now this is where Torrens as a company stepped into India in 2017, and we have been successfully laying structure to music education in our 85 plus associated schools across India and 200 plus schools in the US since 2010. We provide the necessary infrastructure at zero cost to schools, a modernized curriculum for music education for both instrumental learning and non-instrumental learning. We provide young, trained and skilled manpower who can adapt to the new methodologies of teaching and ensure day-to-day maintenance of the equipment is done at zero hassles to school. We even provide a performance platform to the students through our national band contest that is attended by a live audience of 7,000 plus people in Pune. We try to bring in the highest of globally accepted standards and techniques, both in terms of technology, the learning which we have received from the US schools, and try to integrate that with the in school music education and deliver it to schools at a very, very economical cost so that the students of any economic background can have access to a structured music education which they truly deserve. I will just like to share my screen so that to give you a visual perspective. So like these were the rooms given to us by a school in Pune, and this is what we did to it. Now this carpeting, wall artwork, everything is done at our cost. These are all 5 octave keyboards which are for both handed playing. Now for a parent, they sometimes don't even recognize what is the correct equipment to be given to a child. They will just buy a small Casio and give it to the student and dekhte hi bachcha baja nahi pa raha hai. So the space is so much which does not give both handed playing. So these keyboards have the space in them for both handed learning. This is the guitar room, and this is how we do it pan India across all our associated schools. This is the drum room, and similarly we have the vocals and the other curriculums as well. So that's about it from my side. That is how we go about the music education. As a personal experience, I would just like to share that, like ma'am correctly said, it's very difficult to identify at a very early age um, what the skill set of a child is. I got into the field of commerce because my friends were doing it. I in fact started from science, shifted to commerce, then did chartered accountancy, and then left it at the final stage because I could not relate to these things. And I did not have these things in my mind that I have to practice or I have to do so just because I went with the flow because everybody was doing it. But I was given a small keyboard when I was in hospital in class 12, and I just started playing a few tunes on it. And like Arundhati ma'am has a skill that within 1 month she can learn any language. You give me one instrument, I can learn that instrument in 1 month. Uh, Without even having any kind of, I am not a trained musicians at all, but I can have the basic level of playing of that instrument. Now if this skill could have been identified at an early age, then you would have been listening to my music compositions probably. but anyways, like thank you Rajulji for this session, and it was wonderful listening to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinayak, and that is we call life, right? Instead of giving us music and song, you are sharing your views on anything. So,
Yeah.
but fortunately, we have Torrens now, and we have this National Education Policy 2020. So, big thanks once again to all the key speakers, for making this session. Now we come to the last part of the session, question part. We already have received many questions from various educators. But before I start presenting these questions, I just take a minute in explaining what exactly we have been doing at School Lalaji. And after that, we'll start sharing questions with all our key speakers. So please allow me to share my screen for a minute. Some of you are already aware that School Lalaji Solutions, we are India's largest one-stop solution platform for educational institutions. We are present in 42 cities, working with some around 4,500 institutions. We help educational institutions in 3 ways. We help them in buying right things, from right people at right price. We also help them in selling their old stuff, like their old buses, generators. We also help institutions in raising money, that may be in terms of loans or fee financing. Why any educational institution needs a platform like School Lalaji? You already have your own suppliers. You believe that your team is getting good discount. You have your team has expertise, is efficient. So why you need a platform like School Lalaji to find you a right supplier? Because of two main reasons. In India we generally generally outsources services in 44 different categories, and we have tens of thousands of suppliers in our country. So it's very difficult for those suppliers to reach out to all the schools, and it's very difficult for all school leaders, to reach out and to meet and interact and understand all those services and products in detail. So practically, we generally end up doing business with those people who are able to reach out to us or whom we are comfortable with. There are 90% plus suppliers who have wonderful product and services, but we were not, we were not even able to reach out to them and to just understand their product and services. We offer our services. We come into picture here. We understand your school, your institution. We understand your budgetary limitation. We understand your, and accordingly, we have category experts who interact with different companies, in different categories on daily basis. They understand their product and service in detail. We also talk to the previous clients, the company's previous clients, to assess their credibility. We offer our services in these different categories: smart classroom procurement, uniform, insurance, diesel, solar plant, language lab, security solutions, furniture, recruitment, music classrooms, healthcare, robotics, STEM, STEAM labs, career counseling, stationery, digital marketing, IT solutions, educational tour, generators, learning tools, and finance. And we take the guarantee that we'll save at least 5 to 7% of educational institutions. It's kind of a 5% additional revenue generation for all schools. Just one example, we saved 2 crore 40 lakh rupees for different schools in one category only, that's bus insurance. We are perhaps India's largest school bus insurance partner. Some other highlights: 8 megawatt plus solar installation, 3,000 plus bus insurance, 400 plus smart classroom, 2,000 plus cameras, 350 plus training programs, 56 old buses, uniforming 42 schools. By the end of 2021, we aim to reach out to 10,000 institutions. We need your support, your guidance, your blessings. So I'll end my talk here now. So with this, we come to the question part. I would request Sami sir, if we have your presence, I would like to present the first question to you. So Sami sir, do we have your presence? I believe we have lost the connection with Sami sir. Now I would request Anita ma'am, if I may present this question to you.
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, this has been a very, very regular question. Almost in every session, we have been asked this question. So today, in fact, many people have, 5, 6 people have asked this question. What major changes this NEP would bring? If you can highlight, as per your experience, 2 or 3 key changes into our education system, let's say 10 years from now.
First thing is the way they have bought the 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, this curriculum. And secondly, they have bought this skill outcome based learning. That is very important part. And the skill learning, skill teaching in the curriculum. These are the main part which, and the early childhood care. Where the teachers will be like they'll be trained and they'll be like they must know the numeracy and language till class 3. They must be ready when they come to class 3. They should be ready and they should be trained in everything. And there'll be the teachers. They'll be like people who are taking care of the children who are below like 5 years. They'll be trained. They'll be given the certificates, and they'll be like if they are 10 class pass, so they'll be given the certification, and they have to go through the training for that. So that is the best part of NEP. There's the biggest change. And the openness in choosing the subjects, as the Cambridge and IB were doing earlier. Now CBSE has also given that option that and the art subjects, music subject, and these are not scholars, they have the same weightage as the other subject. So these are the biggest change, and I think that is going to give a big opening to the student to complete their dreams, those who want to, as Vinayak said, if his talent would have been recognized at an early age, and as the ma'am also said, like in IB the people are doing it already, and now we have understood the importance, because when CCE came, it also came with lots of hopes and things, but somehow we could not implement it properly. That also had the same thing, but and as ma'am said, like we need to do it ourselves, and I'm very glad to tell you that we are also in our school also, children every Friday they bring 2 chapatis. We have kept this project, one child 2 chapati, and that goes to Rodi Bank every Friday, and they children they go themselves and they give. And then we have a project that is one muthi dal, one muthi chawal, so every child gets that on 13th of every month, and then we give it to the people, they go themselves and they give. Then I'm running a project that saves sparrows, so the children are making the bird houses and we are selling it to the people. And it's very nice to see them on their homes. हम ये बोलते हैं कि you have a big house to live, so please give a small house to the birds also. So that is how, like, we are inculcating these things, and that is what NEP says, imbibe these values, these things. And as Arundhati ma'am said, कि until unless we do it the way she does, the same I follow, so we do it. And I always feel that only education can bring the change. So that is why I aim to open one library in every village. So till now I have done it, 12 libraries I have opened, and still more to open in every, because I want ki, see, I am basically from Nainital, so I am staying in Haryana, Bhiwani. So I want ki when I leave this place, people must remember me through those books, because जो चीजें हमने बचपन में पढ़ी थी, वो धर्मयोग, साप्ताहिक हिंदुस्तान, चंपक, नंदन, and Asterix and Tintin, and Five Famous or Rajan Iqbal. So that all reminds me of my childhood, and I feel ki every child must get those things. Ki being coming from Hindi medium, coming from painting background, I could achieve it. So, but I want to give them what I didn't get in my childhood, that way, language wise and things wise, and what I got in my childhood, I want to give them. The books
Wonderful.
that made me what I am today. So that is my aim, to open one library
But-
in each village.
Wonderful.
That is
Your
that-
commitment and your passion is quite visible, Anita ma'am, and we highly appreciate that. And we are very fortunate that we have an educator, that too in Haryana, that too in the very special belt of Haryana, Bhiwani.
And thank you so much for introducing, making us meet with such wonderful people. Dangi sir, I need your help. Vinayak, I want to open it, because we don't have people who could come and teach instrument. So I've taken your number and I'm going to call you tomorrow, both of you, because I really want you to see, we are in interior and people, they don't have exposure. So I want to give them that exposure. As long as I am sitting on this chair, no, I want them to get everything which people at Pune getting and at Delhi getting. So I want to give the children the same
Great.
facility.
Even Haryana Education Board, I visited Haryana Education Board 2
Now
times.
you can come to us because it is in Bhiwani only.
Yeah,
Okay.
you are in Bhiwani, Haryana Education Board in Bhiwani only.
That's
Definitely
right.
this time will come over there. Thank you.
Yes, yes,
Sure,
yes. And
sure.
they work there, so I am there always.
Great. So I'll be coming back to you, Anita ma'am, for your concluding remark as well. Now I would request Arundhati ma'am. Ma'am, I have 2 questions for you. Both are from same school. One is from Miss Amit. First is from Miss Manjeet Kaur, AKS International Public School, Sector 41, Chandigarh. The question says, as children will get the option to choose mother languages, there can be a problem to get study material in the mother language. I have also, pasted the question in the chat box. Do you think there would be any problem in the curriculum or study material in the mother tongue? Ma'am, you are on mute.
See, I don't think so, because when the NEP 2020 clearly states, and it has given the onus of preparing the textbooks already to NCERT and SCERT. So definitely some material is going to come. But if you are talking of the dialects and all that, then we don't have. If it's a proper language, a script is there, and naturally material will be available. And the best thing is to hire a person who has really, who is really a native speaker. That makes a lot of difference. the kind of insights and the kind of things, what he or she can give, others borrowed, language cannot give. So I don't see any problem in getting the course material.
There is another there is another question, ma'am. I have also pasted the question in the chat box. The question has come from Ms. Amit Kaur, same school, AKS International School, Chandigarh. The question says, is there any particular curriculum to be followed for pre-primary?
See, for pre-primary, for the first time, actually, government has included that pre-primary. Otherwise, if you study RT, Right to Education Act, all it stated is when the child is about 6 years old or 6+, you admit him directly in grade 1, and no background check to be made, and school has to prepare them. So it means nobody bothered about what happens in the early school years. But that is the most important thing, as I would say, because that keeps a foundation for your entire edifice of learning. You can build your edifice only when the foundation is strong. And if you ask my personal opinion, I'm against hiring, just 10th grade pass or 12th grade pass teachers for pre-primary. We feel they can teach, no, because insight into education, the correct pronunciation, the etymology, the syntax, anything and everything they are teaching, if at least a graduation is needed, if I am asked to give opinion, I would say that. And they should be properly trained. Just grade 12 and teaching something is not going to help. Because until and unless I am confident of what I am delivering, then, I will depend on the books or somebody else's notes or Google. That shouldn't happen. Now for pre-primary, again, the entire curriculum is given, like, for example, identification of the alphabets. If you're talking about Hindi, all your Varnamala you have to do. Then 2-letter word, 3-letter words, that's what they give. And ample of textbooks are available. And now Cambridge is coming out with a complete package of your primary set also, like, curriculum also. So why not refer it? Like, see, we should not think that, okay, this is Cambridge thing, I don't want, this is state board thing, I don't want. You should be open when it comes to education. You could refer and make your own stuff. So referring to books, whatever you find, and many publishers will come out once it is successfully implemented. Now market will be flooded with books.
Absolutely.
So there are
absolutely.
Yes.
Right. Thank you, Arundhati ma'am. I'll be coming back to you for your concluding remarks. Now I would request Mr. Ma'am. Mr. Ma'am, I'll we have received few questions from the domain of special education. I'll also take a cue from Arundhati ma'am's main talk when she said, like, she created a culture of empathy inside the classrooms, and students learned how to deal with students with special abilities. Because you are an authority, you are an expert in the domain, I would request if you can share the challenges. Why not every school can do that? Why not every classroom? Why not every teacher? Why not most of the teachers, have the same empathy? Where are the problems? Are we not like the sir? We are not even recognizing the presence of the students with special ability. Your views?
I think we can talk this under several headings. So firstly is in the school. If we talk about the school only, when we are talking barrier-free, we don't have ramps, we don't have toilets which are barrier-free, we don't have buses which are barrier-free. So how does the child get included? This I'm only talking about the physical barriers. I'm not even starting on the language barrier, which you just asked Arundhati ma'am, or communication barriers or the technological barriers. Just the physical barriers is a big, and this we are talking about urban schools. How many rural area schools do you think would be having, no physical barrier schools? And we talk about putting children in NEP 2020 in neighborhood schools. We're giving them the option, but are we, and even the cerebral palsy children, those who are in a wheelchair, or a child with polio, how will they reach out to the school? Or are we giving them the option of just home-based education? And if we are giving them the option of home-based education, what about the other things which NEP is giving for schools, that if we make it barrier-free, special educators who will be trained in cross-disability, are we giving the same facility for home-based education? And how are we going to keep a check on it? So what are our, checks? And so it's a really difficult proposition there. Then also, if you see in a school, regular school with 30, 35 students in a class, very easy to say to integrate. And also here I would mention, because just by chance I said integrate. In the policy itself, these terminologies have been, used in place of one another. So sometimes we are saying inclusion, we are saying integration, which actually have different connotation. So many a times you'll see in many of the schools when they say inclusion, they actually take out the child from the class and take the child to a resource room for most of the day, and only for probably a few hours of assembly or some craft there together. So is that really inclusion? Are we putting the child in a particular school campus, but keeping the child away from the actual inclusion of the classroom and teaching in the classroom? But then you have to understand, can that child actually be included in this class? Is the child ready? So we have to also see the readiness of the child to get included in the class. So if a hyperactive ADHD child is there, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, the child may have behavioral problems, might be biting, spitting, giving bad words or whatever. Is the teacher who is teaching the regular children capable of looking after such a children? Can she make a behavior modification plan for that child? And if not, if we say, okay, she's supported by a special educator. In a special school, the ratio between the special educator and a disabled child is 1:8 maximum. That is when we are saying the disability is somewhere between, because preferably it should be 1:1 or 1:2. It is if it is profound or severe disability. But because of shortage of resources, 1:8 is also acceptable by Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. But what happens in a regular school? How would the teacher be able to give her time to a child who has some behavioral problems? I'm talking about a special educator. When she has about, so many sections and so many classes. And also when we're doing subject teaching, like I said, through surveys, we have found that the pedagogical and the content knowledge of special educators is very poor. And we can't blame them. So if I have to teach class 12th commerce, or I might be a science graduate, and like Arundhati ma'am just said, there are teachers who are just having 10 plus 2 education background. So how would a teacher would handle, and let's even say you are a master's in some field, but you are a science, you have done it in biology, and you have to now teach commerce because that child is so the ratio of the special educators, till what extent do we need to take that so that every classes, every, at each level, the special educator can be co-teaching with the general or the regular teacher? Or are we expecting the regular teacher to take it on by her own? So even if we talk about cross-disability educators, can one educator be trained in studying Braille as well as be doing sign languages? And also, like I mentioned in my presentation, if you just give sign language to the hearing impaired child, what is the language for? For communication. Whom does the child communicate with? With another hearing impaired child. Can the child communicate with me? No, because I don't know sign language. So like any other language, like we know so many languages, sign language can be given an option, as it is done in other countries, for us to choose and take it up. If we want to have a conversation with a hearing impaired child who is conversing in sign language, then it should be given as a choice, and not only in the, trying to fix a problem model, just give it to the hearing impaired child and say that we are now making you inclusive. But how are we making him inclusive? In just that school, in that subject, or just in his little small world of hearing impaired child? Am I making him inclusive in the society? Because how many people, once the child goes out of the school, will be able to understand his signing? So these are the things. There is difficulty at the school level, at the teachers level, at the peer level. We talk about peer tutoring. And when it is a disabled child, if the child is not cognitively affected, probably, let's say a CP child who is wheelchair bound, we do buddy system where the child will be pushing the wheelchair when he requires to go to the washroom, or he wants to go out to the playground or to the library or any other place. But many a times you will find that the teachers and the principal will tell you that the parents of the buddy might put up a resistance to that. They do not want their child to be always wheeling around the child who is disciplined. I know it is upon the teacher to sensitize and to bring up the morale of the class, that because I'm also a mother of a special child, therefore what I speak is out of experience. I know because my child, who is actually a specific learning disability child and also has intellectual disability, so basically you can call her multiple disabled, this child, she could not tie her laces. Now, when she was in the younger classes at class 1, 2, and 3, the other friends were helping her tie her laces just because they had to go to a computer room where they had to first take off their shoes. And when they came back, they had to tie. Now, Madhumita's, that is my daughter's name, would be all around, she would be going flapping her laces because she can't tie laces. There is this problem with these children. Now, other children would help her, but as she came up to a little higher class, children started refusing because they started feeling, why should I tie the laces? And I remember one of this, she was studying in an army school in Pune, and the principal got down just to give her, to the children, to give them that insight. She got down from the podium and she came down. She said, I think I should tie the laces of Madhumita because, see, if I'm helping, just by doing that much, the next day people were actually lining up to help this child. So it is many things are depending on how we take it from there and how we, sensitize not only the other children, but we have to sensitize the parents of other children. Many a time, if a child has a habit of, moving his head, or some, like autistic children, they have some habits of, physical movements, they'll do repeated movements. Now, some parents who are not initiated into this might think, okay, my child will, because it is seen that, somebody sitting with that child might also start trying to do that. But it is understood that, that autistic child is doing that activity because he's getting some feedback from him. He's got a sensory feedback, which for any other person like you and me, after some time, even if we do that, it cannot be a permanent change in us. But parents get worried and they think, my child should not be sitting next to that child. And this is, I'm only talking about a small behavioral problem. If a child is spitting, biting, or you can then imagine how the parents of non-disabled counterparts would react. And we can't even blame them, really.
Absolutely.
So there are many challenges there.
Yes, absolutely. After listening to you, I've come to the conclusion. I'm sure, like you all know better than me, but I've come to the conclusion that we have no policy. We have no policy. I would say a serious policy. And as a country, we have failed. If we have these kind of things which you have shared, even this 2020 policy. So as a nation, we have failed. To formally recognize and to find a solution to those category of our citizens. So a big thanks, Sharmista, ma'am, for joining and sharing. And we are quite motivated with your talk. And I'm sure even we do not have any special section in IIEC, to I would say talk about. But I'm sure we will be talking about it, and we would be coming out with the. And we would be making some serious efforts, certainly, for sure. I'll be coming back to you. Now, I would request, thank you, ma'am. I'll come back to you for your concluding remark. Sunil Dangi, sir. Arundhati ma'am, Anita ma'am talked about the flexibility of choosing subjects. A lot of people come to us and they have raised this question. At one side, this seems very good that students will get that flexibility of subjects, in CBSE as well. Though it was always there that there were more than 240 subjects just a few sessions back. Anil Mudgil sir from Delhi Public School, Faridabad, he participated and he shared that we already have 240 plus subject options. We generally don't offer those options to students, But do you think, Sunil sir, it would also create a confusion among the mind of those students for the career selection?
Yeah. See, more the option, more the confusion. So there is no doubt about it. So as the options has been increased, the people are bound to get confused. And more than getting confused, the lack of awareness generates the fear. There are so many careers which, because it is not just about the subject the student is choosing. Ultimately, he will have to earn the livelihood also from there. And the parents are always scared of that. If a student, I'm taking an example, if a student is choosing music, accounts, and physics. This is an example which I keep on taking. So just imagine that now parents will have to, what will become? खाएगा कैसे, कमाएगा कैसे, क्या choose कर रहा है, what is this, right? So, but yes, there is a career exists for such student also. He can become a manufacturer of the musical instruments. He knows physics, he knows sounds, and he's interested in music, and he knows account. Just imagine if Vinayak would have been a very good accountant as well. He's interested in music, and if he would have been interested in manufacturing, he could have put the manufacturing unit also. So these are the unique career option which from the combination comes out. So we have, there are 70,800 something career exist. 78,000 something careers. This is data available on a US Labor Department site. 78,000 careers. So the people should be aware of all these careers, and then they choose from there. Definitely the confusion will be there, but yes, there exists a scientific way. The psychometric assessments is a huge science. There's 100 years of science has gone into this. Even the companies like Ernst & Young, McKinsey, for choosing their leaderships, they are conducting this test, psychometric assessments. If these tests would not have been that good, so why the companies are putting these efforts into that?
Absolutely.
So that's what it is. The problem is there, but it can be solved with the help of science, and that's what.
Absolutely. We agree with you, Sunilji, and just for the sake of sharing the information, Arundhati ma'am, Anita ma'am, and Mr. ma'am, we also organize a lot of career interactions with the students. And this year we have organized more than 650 sessions with different schools across country, and we have realized that we asked them one straight question to all the students, like, please suggest 10 good career options related to your stream. And we really found I rarely found any student who have that information, more than 10 career options. We are sometimes, and most of the times, we are heavily inclined towards one or two career options, and we spend our 9th class, 10th class, 11th class, 12th class preparing for those one or two options. So we absolutely agree with Sunilji that there are many career options, but we don't spend our time in investing those options and exploring those areas. Now, Vinayak, and this would be the last question for the day. Vinayak, absolutely, this NEP is talking about art integration, music in particular. Music as a word has been mentioned more than 20 times. We have another expert, Mr. Savio John, who continuously say that like music in the policy has been mentioned more than 20 times. A lot of people believe that art integration is good, but do we really have the infrastructure? Do we really have that number of trainers available? For example, Anita ma'am would ask you tomorrow to send your trainers to Bhiwani. So do we have that number of trainers available?
Rajulji, we are contributing as a nation 18% of the global population. And after us, there is United States, which contributes 4. China just contributes 18.5%. My figures must be roughly here and there. But so since we have got such a vast population, I'll tell you there will be never a dearth of talent in India. There will always be talent available, always be skilled instructors that are available. Like Arundhati ma'am said, we need to focus deeply on the training aspects to ensure that they are taught the requisite soft skills to perform their duties well as a teacher within a school environment. Like tuition teacher teaching at home and a teacher teaching in a school environment are totally two separate things. So there needs to be specific set of soft skills which the teacher needs to be empowered with before they can be imbibed into the school system, along with the other certifications and all that, which is in fact necessary for them to get into. But yes, as I know that the passion for teaching is there, the passion for music is there. So any music teacher, if he gets an opportunity, he will be willing to go to Bhiwani, he will be willing to go to Nainital, he'll be willing to go to even the remote. We are in a school in Burhanpur. I don't know if anybody has even heard Burhanpur. I myself didn't have heard because we got a call from there. It's a small place in Madhya Pradesh, and Macrovision is the name. And it is one of the I didn't even know it has one of the biggest boarding schools in India, and it is an Apple certified school. Like it is one of the only school which is certified by Apple US, because entire the curriculum and everything, they are having an iPad for each and every student. They are super tech savvy school. So we don't even know, and the teachers were really excited to go there. So if it's not that location does not matter, the passion for teaching matters, and that is where. And the second thing, coming to the infrastructure aspects, yes, last year schools have been affected very badly by the pandemic. The fee collection has been a big stress. So schools have had a lot of financial impact as well, and finances are needed to improve a school education system. So setting, and I believe setting up the infrastructure one time, schools will still be able to do that. But where the challenge lies is the day-to-day maintenance of the instrument. Now there are 20 guitars in a room and children are playing it day in and day out. The guitar strings will break. Teacher will have to write a letter to the principal that I need a replacement. Principal will approve it. It will go to the accounts office. Accounts office will clear the funds, and that 200 rupees guitar strings will take around 15 days to come. And that instrument is lying just vacant there. So the day-to-day maintenance is a hassle that school needs to avoid. And these are the smaller things which are there. So infrastructure is not an issue, but day-to-day maintenance is a challenge. And I would just like to add another thing, like Sunil sir just mentioned, uh, having multiple knowledges in multiple various different fields. So sir, we had an experience in US where the first standard child was almost 5'8". Height is 5'8", because they are genetically superior to us. So for them to learn a 38-inch guitar is very practical. They can learn that. I had gone to China for this specific same need, because we are getting our guitars customized, and the neck of the guitar is going inside the body, so that for Indian children who have lower length of the arm, the entire guitar fret can be controlled by Indians without compromising on the sound. So this is the having multiple business knowledge as well as accounts knowledge, as well as the product knowledge and the music knowledge. This is where it helps, and it actually, I can relate to this very well, what Sunil sir just said.
Right, right. Great. So I also, take one thought from Vinayak. Say, like, instead of manufacture your own products, you can always trade from China. So
Yes, it is. It is like
thank you.
we have to admit that we are far behind them. We have to admit that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So big thanks. With this, we come to the end of this very, very special session, and in all true senses. But before we end the session, I would request all our speakers if we can have your concluding remark. We have also established one very interesting practice, that while sharing your remark, I would also request if you can suggest some idea, some thought, or what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education of our country. What would be your priority that you would like to implement, that you would like to execute? Let's say if you become a Minister of Education for a day only. So I'll request Sunil Dangi sir, sir, if we can begin with you, if I may request you for your concluding remark. And what would be your priority अगर आप शिक्षा मंत्री भारत सरकार में बनते हैं तो 24 घंटे में आप क्या करना चाहेंगे?
आपने बड़ा ही अच्छा हिंदी में इसको बोला है, शिक्षा मंत्री भारत सरकार. So will I do anything even after that? Even after
सेशंस में तो बाकी शिक्षा मंत्री बोलते कि हम ये करेंगे, तो आप तो बोल तो सकते हैं.
अच्छा, बोल तो दें. Anyway, so I wish that today in the morning I learned that in Singapore a child start the career from 6th class onwards. I don't know what technology they are using, how they are able to find out it. So I'll be looking into that. That's a different thing. So, but having said that, one should be allowed to choose the life they want to live. As Razul keep on saying that we do not choose a career, we choose a life. And we choose among what kind of people we want to be surrounded by. So if and that's the life actually. So it is not about choosing the career, it's about choosing the life, and a child should have that right. Why do we force someone that, okay, 11th 12th का बच्चा ठीक ठाक हो जाता है, he is not that small, that and provided that the full information should be given to them. There should be a DIY kind of platform, do it yourself. There should be, they can explore the things, they can know about their strength, weakness and everything, and accordingly that they can choose the career. there should be independence, and that's why that's a Vinayak story was there. Vinayak was telling that I first I did this, and then he came into the music. Even myself, I after class 12 I dropped 2 years to get into the IIT. After getting the IIT, I went to the actuarial science, and then after working for 7 years, I left the job. Now I am doing my own business. Now the question is, what would have been the optimal
This
path?
is the story. This is the story of more than 85%
Yes.
people in our country. I would say across globe. We just
So the concluding remark is, please let us,
26 a year of our life. So big thanks, Sunil sir. Now I would request Vinayak, same question. Your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education, apart along with the additional charge of Cultural Ministry?
Yes, I was about to say that if you're giving me, at least give me 2 3 ministries, so I can take education minister, culture minister, and make me the finance minister as well. So what I will do is that last time when Modi ji was announcing everything, that such a big impetus is being given to MSME sector, this sector, that sector. I was just waiting at that announcement that what is being done for the education sector, which is still struggling after 1 year of the lockdown. Everything else is open now, but schools are still struggling. So right now they are coming up with a certain portion of GDP which will be allocated to the education sector, which I'm glad. So funds needs to be disbursed to improve the schools infrastructure. There has to be there certain amount of impetus, and benefits needs to be there for the schools. And I would like to make music as a mandatory subject across all schools, because I have seen the benefits it has in other countries. In countries like Singapore, USA, it is already mandatory. And I would like to propose that change, and that awareness needs to be there, because it has got a positive impact in all other areas as well. It is a language, nevertheless, like even we listen to songs like Despacito. We These are Spanish songs, but we still like them. We don't understand the meaning, but we can relate to the tune. A 6-month-old child, you play a tape recorder and he will start dancing on the bed, because he can. It's a language which is inborn, it's in the moral fiber of humans, so it needs to be taught well. That is what I believe.
Thank you, Vinayak. And you talked about the Spanish song. Today we have Arundhati ma'am. तो आपको दो चार गाने को क्या मतलब जानने, तो आज Arundhati ma'am बता दें. Right. So big
Yes.
thanks, Vinayak. And now I would request Sir Mr. Basu ma'am. Sir Mr. Ma'am, if I may request you for your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get that opportunity to become Minister of Education, along with the additional charge of Social and Welfare Ministry, Child and Women Welfare Ministry as well. Sir Mr. Ma'am.
I think this is NEP 20 is a task well begun. It's a Herculean task at hand as far as the disability sector goes, and we are at the tip of the iceberg. So you can make me whatever minister you want. It isn't easy to just solve all the problems, because this is not only about the school and teaching disabled children. It's about sensitizing our society, the awareness. The best of the schooling for disabled children, the best countries, Netherlands and in Europe. So why are they called the best countries? We have to sensitize, or it begins at home. Charity begins at home. So we have to start from the parents, for them to accept that this child is equal, if not better than his non-disabled sibling, and to give equal importance to both the children, or more if they have more, and not less. So it begins at home, and then it carries over to the school and to the society. So we are the change bringers. We are the torch bearers for all this change which has to be brought about in the society. So it is upon you and me, and really not the ministers. So sensitizing people, educating teachers about disability, sensitizing, because it could be your child. You are lucky that it's not, but it could be one of your child who's not getting proper education because sensitized about disability, or does not know how to make an individual education plan, or how to deal with the behavioral problem. So the basic idea was to start at home, to sensitize those. I think a school principal can do that job, and we already have three, four of the principals with us. So they are good enough to start this as a revolution in their, bring the change bringers in their school. And it has to begin in small ways, and then finally we have slowly, after all, what we create in school is what we see the future, isn't it? These are the future of our country. So it has to start somewhere. So NEP is a job well begun. But then, like I think Robert Frost said, that the woods are lovely, dark and deep, and I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. So that is going to aptly, I think, sum up the situation for children with disability.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Anita ma'am had just commented in the chat box that it was an eye-opening presentation. So we all agree with her. So Mr. Ma'am, thank you once again, for sharing those valuable thoughts. And those were eye-opener to most of us. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now I would request Anita ma'am, before I go to Arundhati ma'am. Anita ma'am, your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education? I would also request you can share some more detail about your that NGO Madadkar. तो वो लाइब्रेरी जो आप बना रहे हैं उनमें क्या क्या होता है, वो कितने रूम की लाइब्रेरी होती है, वो कैसे आप कर रहे हैं, and your concluding remark and your
generally yes, thank you so much. Generally when this is like my NGO is of my with my teachers only, they are the part of my NGO. So हमें लग रहा था कि when I started running this NGO, like people were coming to me for help and this, and then why to help, why not I make an NGO where my teachers are involved. And so we made this NGO 2-3 years ago. And like in this we first we collaborate with any village, we go to the village, we talk to the sarpanch, and if the sarpanch, sometime it happens the sarpanch, they have space, they are provided by the village, and they have the space, so we take that space, and there we appoint a librarian, that his expenses are paid by the sarpanch, and but then we provide them the books and the almirahs and tables and chairs. And then in one village though, they have kept one lady librarian also, she comes to teach the children and whatever. And in between, what I do is I keep running small like Atmanirbhar, like to make them self sufficient. So we make some programs also for them, like last week we taught them how to make the electric board and the things, to the children. They all came to the library and they are using it where, like, and there are like in every village they have kept a person and they are running the show. Now they are running the library. The village stop playing the cards. Now they go there and they study the books and they read stories to the children and they're reading newspapers. So it's some, like, we are trying to bring change in that environment of the village. This is how we are running. And wherever we don't get the space, so we choose the government school, and there we provide the books, because they hardly have any library children. So purpose is to give the books so that they could read and they can change.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We
This
really
is how
appreciate that. We agree, Arundhati ma'am, so it's a great initiative. Wonderful, Anita ma'am. And what would be your priority if you get a chance to Minister
If I'll be minister, because see, we are the teachers, and we make engineer, we make doctor, we make we make prime minister, we make president, we make everyone, right? And we are underpaid. This is the only fraternity which is not paid properly in India. In school, they are being misused by the owners and by the people. So I would be the one who will say, give them the best salary of the world. They should be given the best salary. That is what I want.
You also
for the
need additional charge of finance ministry then.
No, I'll take help from them then. Right.
Great.
And then my concluding remark is, NEP says it says its focus is on what